Every year, the College Football Playoff Committee selects what it believes are the best teams in the nation and places them into a single bracket for them to fight it out. And after a couple of rounds of blood, sweat, and tears, they crown a national champion. However, every year there's debate on whether the committee actually picks the right teams. In 2023, they left out Florida State, even though they didn't lose a single game all season and won the ACC. And most recently this year, they chose a 3-loss Alabama and a 2-loss Miami over a 2-loss Notre Dame. Which, if I'm being honest, they should have left out Alabama, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Anyway, there's no perfect bracket. No matter what the committee does, no matter what the community says, they will always get backlash. But why does this even matter? I mean, come on, every year there's always only a few teams that can actually win the national title, and well, this year is no different. What if I told you that only 4 teams can actually win the national championship? Don't believe me? Okay then, let me explain. Now first, if you're wondering who these 4 teams are, it's pretty simple. Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, and Oregon. And before you go in the comments saying Tulane will win the whole thing or James Madison will win the whole thing, no. Tulane and James Madison have zero chance of winning the whole thing. But Ohio State, Georgia, Indiana, and Oregon, these teams have a real shot. Now before I continue, I want to give an honorable mention to Texas Tech. If I had added another team to this list, it would definitely be them. I just don't trust them to get it done due to their weaker schedule compared to these other teams, and the path they face worries me a bit. So, Texas Tech, prove me wrong. Back to the original topic, why can only 4 teams win the whole thing? For this video, I'll give 3 main reasons why each of the 4 teams can win it, and 1 reason why they can't. So let's do a segment for each of the 4, going from most obvious to least obvious. Starting with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah, it's pretty obvious I'd have them on here. They're returning national champions, the team with the most talented and complete roster in the nation. Now you might be wondering, didn't they just lose to Indiana? Yes, they did. But the last time Ohio State lost 13-10 before the playoffs, what happened? Well, let me remind you, they won the whole thing. Now obviously that isn't a valid reason, so let's get to my 3 reasons why Ohio State will win it all. Number 1, talent. They're the most talented roster in college football. This includes players like Heisman finalist Julian Sayin, star wide receivers Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate, running backs Bo Jackson and James Peoples, and the best defensive player in the nation, Caleb Downs. Oh, and don't forget Jaden Fielding. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yes, Ohio State has an amazing roster filled with talent and skill. Entering the season, many people, including myself, thought Ohio State had lost so much in the offseason that they would take a step back. But guess what? That didn't happen. You could argue they've gotten even better. Reason number 2, Ohio State has the best defense in the nation. This is probably the biggest reason of the 3. Ohio State allows just 8 points per game, which is insane. The most points a team has scored in Ohio State was Illinois in Week 7. Take a guess. How many points do you think Illinois scored? The correct answer is a whopping 16. This defense is incredible. Words can't even describe it. When they played a Washington team averaging 40-plus points a game, they gave up just 2 field goals. Even in their loss to Indiana, they only allowed 13 points. And now, reason number 3, Ryan Day. Say what you want about him, but Ryan Day is a good coach. I trust him to motivate his team and get them ready for whoever they play in the quarterfinals, whether that be Texas A&M or Miami. If you think Ryan Day is just going to let another 13-10 loss get in his players' heads, you're wrong. Ohio State is going to be fueled and they're going to be motivated all because of Ryan Day. Now, Ohio State has one flaw, and to me, that is their offense. I said that they are the most talented and complete team in college football, and they are. I just don't trust them to win a low-scoring game again, like against Indiana. I feel like their offense, although it is good, isn't good enough. The second team that I think can win the national title is the Indiana Hoosiers. First reason Indiana can win the whole thing is, well, they've proven that they're one of the best teams in the nation. They have a great offense. I get they only scored 13 against Ohio State, but they have an amazing offense that can turn things up when they need it. They have an amazing defense that only allowed 10 points to Ohio State, 20 points to Oregon, and just continues to shut teams down. Reason number 2, Curt Cignetti. He is one of, if not the best coach in college football. Probably not the best, but one of the best. He is an amazing coach. I don't know how he did it, what he did in the past 2 years at Indiana, but he took a 3-9 school, took them to 13-0, and led them to a Big Ten championship with nothing. I just have a lot of trust in him. I think that Indiana has really came together as a school, as a team, because this is the story of college football, turning a team around in just 2 years, going from basically nothing to a Big Ten championship national title contender. I think Curt Cignetti can really do it. The last reason I think Indiana can win the national championship is because they have something to prove. I mean, think about the storylines of college football. If a 3-9 team goes 2 years ago, that's Indiana, the most losingest team in college football, if that's even a word, comes around and wins the entire national championship game after just 2 years, the biggest rebuild in history. They have to prove it. I just feel like this entire team wants this more than anyone. I mean, you could see it on Fernando Mendoza's face at the end of the Big Ten championship, how happy he was, the words he said, how they were all misfits that found their way to Indiana. I just think all of their stories, all these player stories, their coach's story, all that is going to motivate them to win the national title. However, their one flaw, I think, is that they don't have enough talent. I get they just beat Ohio State, but comparing some of these transfer guys to what Ohio State has, I mean, there's kind of a gap. I get that they won, but I think the skill gap potentially could be an issue for them. I mean, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's just the one flaw I could see with this team. I don't really see anything else. The third team that can win the national title is Georgia. First reason Georgia can win a national title is simple. Kirby Smart. He is the best coach in college football. He has 2 national titles. He has probably the best defense in the nation. And, well, yeah, that's number 2. Georgia has an amazing defense. They are allowing little points. The only team that really scored a lot of points to them was Ole Miss. And guess what? Georgia still won that game. I trust them a lot. I think Kirby Smart is going to really motivate his team, get them ready. They're probably going to play Ole Miss in the first round, a team they've already beat. They don't have Lane Kiffin. I just see a very favorable path for Georgia to make it to the semifinals. And the third reason why Georgia will probably win the national championship game is they have an established coaching staff. Their players are experienced. They have the talent. They have everything that a national title team needs to win it all. Their one flaw would probably be their offense. I don't know. I don't really see that many flaws with any of these teams. I'm just trying to pick them out. But I guess Georgia, I mean, they don't really score a whole lot of points. The performance in Georgia Tech was very questionable. That's really it. And the last team that I think can win the national championship game is Oregon. First reason I'm going to say Oregon can win the national championship game is because of Dante Moore. He showed us in that Penn State game. I get Penn State isn't that great. I get they completely fell off. But in that game, in clutch moments, he came through against Iowa on that last drive. That was an amazing show of his skill. This team's just very good. And at the quarterback position, I really trust them to get things done. They also have a very favorable path. That's number 2. They have to go through James Madison, who they will probably blow out. Texas Tech, I love Texas Tech. They're great. But I think they're not as good as Georgia, Indiana, or Ohio State, so I think Oregon gets the best draw there. And then I think they get a chance to rematch Indiana in the semifinals, and that to me is a toss-up. The third reason to me is Dan Lanning is going to be a great motivator. He is a master motivator. I completely trust him to get his guys ready and potentially win the Ducks' first national championship. Now, their biggest flaw is that they are young. A lot of these guys that are starting are freshmen or sophomores. I just think that lack of experience could hurt them in the playoff, but we'll just have to wait and see. Those 4 teams, Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, and Oregon, can win the national championship game. Personally, I'm going to pick Ohio State to win the whole thing. I get they already lost to Indiana. I think they'll play them again in a rematch and win this time. And comment down below who you think is going to win the national championship game. And last but not least, don't forget to like and subscribe.